As one of the three superpowers of the world, Russia devotes considerable resources to ensuring its military can hold its own. They're often at the forefront of the design of new weapons and vehicles, and have made certain that no matter where the conflict may arise, they have the tools at their disposal to mount an effective campaign. From the latest missile technology to stealth submarines and electronic warfare systems, these are the 15 most advanced Russian weapons. Number 15. Avangard Hypersonic Glide Vehicle. First revealed in 2018, the Avangard Hypersonic Glide Vehicle travels faster than the speed of sound, and it can be used to deliver both conventional and nuclear payloads. At around 18 feet long, it's actually believed to be able to travel at between 20 and 27 times the speed of sound, with the benefit of this being that it's currently near impossible for most anti-missile systems to be able to react to something traveling that fast. As well as its sheer speed, the Avangard is different from traditional ballistic missiles by its ability to operate and conduct quick maneuvers at low altitudes. According to analysts, when it's approaching its target, it can perform high-speed horizontal and vertical evasive movements, which makes it even more difficult to track and counteract. What's particularly devastating about the Avangard is that it's able to move like this while carrying huge payloads, and when at full capacity, it's thought to be able to deliver a device that can generate a blast yield equivalent to 2 megatons of TNT. If this analysis is correct, the Avangard could well put the advantage back on the offensive side, and pose such a risk that it could reignite an arms race, similar to that during the Cold War, where other powers see the need to not only create their own version, but to significantly improve their defensive capabilities as well. Number 14. Mi-28 Havoc Attack Helicopter. The development of the Mi-28 Havoc attack helicopter has been a long time in the making, since the first test flight was conducted in 1986. Designed to be an all-weather, day and night two-seater anti-armor attack vehicle, Soviet leaders chose instead to prioritize other designs. But by the early 2000s, they returned to the Mi-28 because of its all-around power. In 2003, it was chosen to be one of the 2 next-generation attack helicopters that would be used by the Russian Air Force, and they began to enter service in the following years, with 126 having been built so far. The Mi-28 is 55 feet 10 inches long and has a wingspan of 16 feet. With a maximum takeoff weight of around 25,000 pounds, it's not designed to carry troops or supplies, and instead has a 30mm Shapunov 2A42 cannon mounted underneath with 250 rounds. Along with this, there are 2 pylons underneath each stub wing, and these can be fitted with anti-tank missiles, bombs, rockets, or anything else the mission requires. Powered by 2 Klimov TV13-117 turboshaft engines, the Mi-28 can reach a maximum speed of 200 miles an hour and has a range of about 270 miles. With night vision capability, the chopper is just as effective in light or dark conditions, no matter the weather, which makes it a formidable force on the battlefield. Number 13. Kirov-class battlecruiser. Despite being built as early as the 1970s and first entering service in 1980, the Kirov-class battlecruisers are the largest and heaviest surface combatant warships used by any navy in the world. Measuring 827 feet long and 94 feet wide, they're described by the Russian Navy as heavy nuclear-powered guided missile cruisers and remain some of the deadliest vessels to sail on the oceans. Only 4 of them were ever built, 2 of which have been decommissioned, but the remaining ones have regularly been retrofitted to incorporate the latest technologies and are more than ready for a battle at sea. The Kirov-class battlecruisers can be configured in various ways and carry huge armaments. They have 20 P-700 Granite ship-to-ship missiles that are mounted on deck, 12 Oktябрь S-300F launchers with 96 missiles to provide air defense, and 2 OSA-MA batteries with 20 missiles each that can further defend against threats from above. One of the active Kirov-class cruisers is the only ship in the Russian Navy capable of defending against ballistic missiles. They also have anti-submarine weaponry too. As well as the larger weapons, the ships have an automatic 130mm AK-130 gun system, 10 21-inch torpedo tubes, and the Navy is currently developing a hypersonic anti-ship missile that will be installed on the Kirov cruisers as well. Number 12. Tupolev Tu-160 Blackjack. The Tupolev Tu-160 Blackjack was originally designed by the Soviet Union in the 1970s, but proved to be so complicated, powerful, and expensive to produce that it's still one of the most powerful aircraft in the world. In fact, it's the biggest and heaviest Mach 2 Plus military aircraft to ever be constructed, and remains the largest and heaviest combat aircraft in the world, and by far the fastest bomber used by any air force. They first entered service in 1987, and at least 16 are known to still be operational after undergoing a series of enhancements in the previous decades. With a crew of 4 people, which include a pilot, co-pilot, bombardier, and defensive systems officer, the Tu-160 is 177 feet long and has a wingspan of almost 183 feet. It's powered by 4 Samara NK321 afterburning turbofan engines, and the jet can reach a maximum speed of about 1,400 miles an hour, with a range of about 7,600 miles without in-air refueling. What's incredible about an aircraft capable at traveling at these speeds is that it has 2 internal weapon bays that can carry up to 100,000-pound bombs and have 2 internal rotary launchers that are compatible with Raduga cruise missiles or AS-16 kickback short-range nuclear missiles. Number 11. Yesen-class submarine. Designed in the late 1980s and first built from 1993, the Yesen-class submarines are the newest nuclear-powered cruise missile subs and are intended to replace the Soviet-era vessels. At an estimated cost of around $800 million each, 2 are currently in service, and another 8 are expected to join the Navy in the coming years. Believed to have incorporated state-of-the-art technologies, there's a lot about the Yesen-class subs that remain classified, so their true power isn't fully known. What we do know, however, is that they're armed with land attack cruise missiles and anti-ship missiles, anti-submarine missiles, and are designed to be compatible with future weapons too. Fitted with 8 vertical launchers and 10 533mm tubes, these subs will be able to fire huge payloads very quickly, making them a seriously powerful weapons platform. As they are nuclear-powered, the only thing that limits their range or time beneath the surface is the food and water supplies for the crew, and they are thought to have a maximum depth of around 1,800 feet and can travel at speeds up to 40 miles an hour while underwater. They measure about 457 feet long and require 85 crew members to operate. It's been such a long and costly process to develop these subs, though, that it's thought that Russia's next class of submarines will be much smaller and economical, meaning the Yesen class could well represent the largest and most powerful ones that Russia will ever build. Number 10. Krasukha Electronic Warfare System. With so much of modern-day battlefields relying on the use of technology, militaries have to have both offensive and defensive electronic warfare systems, and the one that's used by the Russian Armed Forces is called the Krasukha. Developed by the Kret Corporation, first entering service in 2014, the main targets of the system are airborne radio electronics and systems that are guided by radar, with the intent being that it can knock down drones and radio-assisted aircraft out of the sky before getting anywhere close to the region that's being defended. The system can jam airborne radar and electronics from as far as 160 miles away, and when it interferes with radar-guided missiles that have already been deployed, it will provide them with a false target to ensure they detonate far away from anything of significance. One of the latest designs of Krasukha is even powerful enough to jam satellites in low Earth orbit and can permanently disable certain radio-electronic devices, meaning any enemies won't be able to rely on their technology in the way that they've become accustomed. Number 9. Pantsir Missile System. The Pantsir Missile System, which first entered service in 2012, is the name given to a family of related vehicles that can launch self-propelled medium-range surface-to-air missiles, as well as featuring anti-aircraft artillery systems. Costing around $14 million each, they were designed to provide defense against helicopters, munitions, cruise missiles, UAVs, and traditional aircraft in order to protect high-priority military, industrial, and administrative locations. Built in a modular way which allows parts to be quickly and easily replaced, the Pantsir system is generally regarded as being one of the quickest and most effective of its kind that's used by any military around the world. It can be actively controlled by an operator or enter passive mode where it'll just automatically detect and intercept incoming threats, and has just a 1 to 1.5 second delay between successive launches, which is a record for analog systems like this. What's particularly effective about this system, though, is that the previous Soviet strategic missile systems were fixed in place, but these ones can easily travel to where they're most needed and can even operate while on the move. It's proved to be so effective that variants of the system have been sold to at least 14 other countries, including Argentina, Vietnam, Iraq, Syria, and Serbia. Number 8. MiG-35. Every air force needs a multi-role fighter jet, and the most recent to enter service in Russia is the MiG-35. Designed by Mikoyan, it's described as a 4+ generation fighter and first began flying on missions in 2019. As you'd expect from such a recent design, the MiG-35 has had significant upgrades from the previous MiG-29, specifically with its avionics and weapons systems, with a new precision-guided targeting capability and optical locator system that makes target acquisition far quicker and more accurate. Depending on the variant, there could be a crew of 1 or 2 people, and the aircraft is about 56 feet long, with a wingspan of 39 feet. And it's powered by 2 Klimov afterburning turbofan engines, which give it a maximum speed of 1,300 miles an hour, with a combat range of 620 miles. Where it truly comes into its own is the armament it carries, with a 30mm Gryazev Shipunov autocannon with 100 rounds and 9 hardpoints with the capability of holding almost 7 tons of munitions, such as rockets, air-to-air missiles, anti-ship missiles, and guided bombs. Also fitted with a passive electronically scanned radar array, an actively controlled scanned array radar, and various other avionic systems, it's easily one of the most advanced fighter jets in the world. Number 7. S-400 Air Defense System. Developed in the mid-1990s but only entering service in 2007 with the Russian Armed Forces, the S-400 Triumph Air Defense System is a state-of-the-art surface-to-air missile and anti-ballistic missile system that was described by The Economist in 2017 as one of the best air defense systems currently made. Costing $300 million per fire unit, which is made up of 9 launchers, 120 missiles, and command and support vehicles. They have a range of up to 250 miles and can be set up alongside the Pantsir missile system to create a 2-layer defense system. The S-400 is able to intercept targets that are traveling at speeds of up to 11,000 miles per hour, and a fully installed system can engage as many as 80 targets at once. Once a threat has been detected, the S-400 can be ready to launch within just 10 seconds of receiving the signal and has an incredibly high success rate. It's with the S-400 that the Russian military is able to defend against bombers like the B-1 and B-2, as well as electronic warfare aircraft, reconnaissance aircraft, Tomahawk cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles. It's also extremely easy to use, so has been sold to at least 6 other countries, including China, India, and Saudi Arabia. Number 6. T-90 Battle Tank. No battlefield would be complete without heavily armored tanks. The main battle tank of the Russian army, which first entered operation in 1993, is the T-90. Thousands have been built since then, but it's also undergone several upgrades, with the latest being the T-90MS that began being built in 2017. Costing around $4.5 million per unit, the T-90MS is 31 feet long and 12 feet wide. It's operated by 3 crew members. Its main weapon is a 2A46 M6 125mm smoothbore gun with 43 rounds, and this is complemented by a 12.7mm Cord heavy machine gun and a 7.62mm PKMT machine gun. The entire hull of the tank is covered with steel composite reactive blend armor, and it's powered by a 12-cylinder diesel engine that can generate about 1,500 horsepower to give the tank a top speed of 37 miles an hour and a range of 340 miles. As well as the composite armor, the tank has a further 2 levels of defense, which include a 3rd-generation Contact 5 design of explosive reactive armor, and a Stora-1 electronic countermeasure suite. Also featuring nuclear, biological, and chemical protection equipment, KMT Minesweeper and automatic fire detection and suppression systems, it is undoubtedly one of the most advanced tanks on Earth. Number 5. Onyx Anti-Ship Cruise Missile. First developed by Mashinostroynia in the 1980s, but only finally passing tests and being commissioned in 2002, the P-800 Onyx is a supersonic anti-ship cruise missile that can be used by virtually any vehicle or installation that's able to launch missiles. Powered by a ramjet engine with 4 tons of thrust, it's 29 feet long and has a diameter of about 2.3 feet and a wingspan measuring 5.6 feet. Acting more like a plane by relying on aerodynamic lift, the missile has a range of different configuration options, which means it can be used at low or high-profile trajectories, has over-the-horizon firing range, and is immune to most electronic countermeasures, and travels at supersonic speeds during all phases of its flight. This makes it extremely difficult to disable once it's been launched, and this is further compounded by how accurate the Onyx is. It has a radar homing head that activates around 30 miles from its target, and this allows it to adjust its flight profile to hit the intended target with a margin of error of just 5 feet. With the ability to launch from up to 500 miles from the target, the Onyx adds the anti-ship capability to the Russian military that can be deployed far faster than trying to intercept threats at sea. Number 4. Bora-class guided missile hovercraft. The Bora-class hovercraft, which is designated by NATO as the Dergach, is one of the very few ships built with an air cushion that's designed to solely operate at sea without traveling onto land. It's also one of the largest military sea vessels that has a catamaran design, and after being designed in the 1980s, there are currently 2 that are in service. The Bora-class vessels, named Bora and Samun, are 215 feet long and 56 feet wide. On board, they have 4 200-kilowatt diesel-driven generators, twin M10D1 type gas turbine engines, twin M511A reduction gear diesel engines, and twin M52OM3 auxiliary diesel engines to power the 3-blade propellers and to inflate the skirts. All of this gives the craft a maximum speed of 63 miles per hour with a range of up to about 2,800 miles. They require a crew of at least 35, but this must increase to 68 if entering combat, and the craft can stay at sea for up to 10 days at a time and can operate in conditions where waves are up to 13 feet high. With state-of-the-art electronic surveying and detection systems, along with 2 PK-10 and PK-16 decoy launchers for defense, the Bora-class hovercraft has a huge arsenal of offensive weaponry available, which includes 2 quadruple launchers, an OSA-MA surface-to-air missile system, an AK-176M automatic 76mm cannon, 2 AK-630 30mm Gatling cannons, 16 portable shoulder-mounted surface-to-air missiles, 2 14.5mm naval machine gun mounts, and a DP-64 anti-saboteur grenade launcher. That's a lot of armament. Number 3. Buk M3 missile system. The original Buk missile system was designed by the Soviets in the 1970s, but rather than design a completely new system, it was upgraded to become the Buk M2 that entered service in 2008, and the Buk M3 that was first delivered in 2016. It's a type of self-propelled, medium-range surface-to-air missile launcher designed to counter cruise missiles, smart bombs, fixed and rotary wing aircraft, and UAVs. It currently boasts a success rate against targets of around 95% after launching just 1 missile. With 36 target channels, it can track and intercept targets that are traveling at up to 6,700 miles per hour, and that are up to 43 miles from where it's installed. The missiles released from the Buk M3 itself reach speeds of up to 3,500 miles per hour and can refine their trajectory in flight by the use of air rudders and reactive rudders. Despite initially being designed to target aerial threats, the latest version of the Buk system can also be used against ground and sea targets, and uses both radio and thermal targeting systems in flight. Number 2. Novorossiysk stealth submarine. Ever since their effectiveness was shown in full force during the Second World War, the world's navies have been developing increasingly powerful submarines that can hide beneath the waves. But no matter the design, there's one problem that they all face. Sound travels incredibly well through water. This means that subs, when operating at full capacity, are relatively easy to detect, so they often have to shut down most of their systems to evade the enemy. Russian developers have, however, designed something to overcome this. Known as the Novorossiysk submarine, it's the Russian Navy's first stealth sub, and according to the Russian Defense Ministry, cannot be detected by ultra-modern anti-submarine equipment. With a crew of 52 and a speed of up to 23 miles an hour, the ability to stay at sea for up to 45 days at a time, and capable of diving to a depth of 1,000 feet, it's perhaps no surprise that the Russian authorities have released very little further information about them. Sources have claimed that they are fitted with Caliber cruise missiles and 533mm torpedo tubes, along with the latest sonar, communications, and radar suites. But as for how they remain invisible, that's a closely guarded secret for now. Number 1. RS-24 Yars. First tested in 2007, the RS-24 Yars is the latest design of intercontinental ballistic missiles, which has reinforced Russia's place on the global stage as a nuclear power. Rather than relying on aging weapons from the Cold War, the RS-24 truly brings their power into the new age and is quite simply an unbelievably devastating weapon. At 75 feet long and with a diameter of about 7 feet, it's able to house as many as 4 multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles. each one of which carries thermonuclear warheads with a maximum yield of up to 500 kilotons. This means that each RS-24 has a theoretical combined yield of up to 2 megatons. Once it's launched, it's virtually untouchable. That's because it can soon accelerate to a speed of up to 15,000 miles per hour and has an operational range of up to 7,500 miles with an accuracy of less than 500 feet to the designated target. To make them even more effective, they can be launched from a silo or from a mobile launcher, meaning they could in theory be deployed from anywhere within Russia's borders. Currently, there are thought to be around 200 launchers already deployed around the country, and military officials claim this number is increasing by around 20 per year. Watch our Machines playlist for more top 15 videos about awesome machines. Sit back, relax, and binge watch all of our best machine videos.